Hello, everyone. My name is Jorge Diaz, president and founder of Larry Jacob Internet Marketing, and another episode of How Do You Describe Infusionsoft Success? This episode, my guest is Bob Britton. And, unlike a lot of the other guests that I have, Bob and I go way back. If you can call 2011 way back. I met Bob at the 2011, back then it was called InfusionCon, now they're called Icon. But Bob, Micah Mitchell, and Grant James were kicking off their marketing automation group, the MAG group that I was a part of for 3 years. So he definitely sold me from the stage. I was happy to be a part of that. And be honest with you, without Bob and the marketing automation group, my business wouldn't be anywhere near where it is now. So I owe a lot to Bob, and I really wanted to feature him because he's got some really interesting ideas underway, and I wanted to let our audience kind of see that. So, Bob, tell us how you got to where you are now.
Well, it's been kind of a wild road, actually. As you may have known, I got really started in internet marketing when I was a kid. When other kids were out playing baseball and running around and doing sports, I was hacking on my Commodore 64 in my basement, and I knew more about computers at a very young age than most people even today do.
So if Commodore 64, you're clearly dating yourself. So.
Hey, tell the truth, right? But that was really where I got my start, and I didn't really get into the industry, so to speak. I went off, and my life took me in another tangent. But when it came back around, and I saw Infusionsoft, and I understood how things worked, I was able to just utilize that software instantly and really maximize the revenue of my business using that software. And then once I did that, I had so many people that were coming up to me like, "Hey, how did you use it? How did you maximize this software? What are you doing with it?" That I thought, you know what, we really need to teach this stuff and really help some people. And that's how MAG came to be, and how I met you, and years go forward, right?
Well,
and I want to joke a little bit was when you say 2011 as being a long time. In internet marketing, anything that's more than 6 months is a long time.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, Bob won the 2010 Ultimate Marketer for Infusionsoft for his use of Infusionsoft to automate his automobile repair business. So, that just to me was like, he explained to us how he would bill his clients before they even showed up, and monthly programs. Just a really out of the box thinking. So my kudos to Bob on that.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that.
So Bob, now your latest tool, and I used a prototype, or an early version of this last summer for one of our clients. I haven't seen the very latest one that I know you released last week. But Tell us how you got into that, because that's a real niche. There's definitely value to it, but why that of all things?
Well, so that really came about because I've been marketing and selling digital products myself online. Obviously, I use Infusionsoft, and I noticed that there were some pretty significant limitations with the order forms. And the longer I've been in this business, George, the more I realized that the biggest bang for the buck is increasing conversions on your order form. Because everything we do as marketers is driving people to try to get them to the order form to obviously place an order, right? And if we're losing people at that point, we're losing a ton of money. If you can increase your conversions at your order form just 5%, that can increase your actual cash profit by almost 50. Sure. There's a huge leverage point at the order form process. And so as I've been doing this for years and years now, I've started to realize that there's 7 key things that you need to have on your order form in order to really boost conversions through the roof. And I've been watching what other people are doing, kind of making a catalog, and I'm like, it's finally, I made this tool for myself, and then I had a lot of people hitting me up saying, "Hey, can I get that? I want a copy of that," and that kind of led me to develop it.
Yeah, so people saying, how do I get cool-looking order forms like those, right?
Well, not just cool looking, but optimized for conversions that really convert at a much higher rate than a standard form does. Not to mention they're mobile ready and all this other stuff, which is absolutely essential in today's marketing world.
Yeah, so give us kind of an overview. I've used it. So the tool, how does it typically work?
Well, the original tool that you played around with really was just a form that you would fill out your various information, and it would spit out the code that you could then copy and paste into Infusionsoft, and it would style up your form really nice, and it would include all these various conversion boosting elements that we have. The new product, I don't know if you're familiar with lead pages or if you've used that at all.
Yeah, that,
but anyone here
ClickFunnels
has.
and a couple of other ones, yeah.
Right. It's the real nice thing about those tools is that they give you an interface. It's you click on something, you change it to what you want. You can change the color, the font. It's all WYSIWYG, right? It's all what you see is what you get kind of editing. So we decided to take FuseForms to that level. We have the new 2.0 version has a completely WYSIWYG editor. You see your template, you choose it, you can change whatever you want, change the colors, the fonts, the sizes, hide certain elements if you don't need them. You can add in additional fields if you want them. Lots of tools like that. You just push the publish button, copy the code, and you're done.
Okay, so hold on. So you can add. Okay, so you can add fields, which is not something
Yep.
you can do with. I mean, not
You
easily.
can add
anyway.
custom fields to your order forms. Yep.
Really?
You can hide fields that you don't want. So if you don't want the company to be shown, you don't want the phone number or address to be shown, you can remove those from your forms. Yep. You can do. Obviously, fonts, background colors, background
can
images.
you create like multiple, ask people to enter their email address twice?
You mean like a security email
Right,
thing?
Well, just so that if they type it wrong the first time, you get it a second time.
We haven't added that feature, but that's not a bad idea. I can put that on the on the request list.
Feature request,
So-
only because I think I've got a client I may be stuck doing something like that for.
Well, one thing that we realized and that I've really taken to heart, I was talking to a client who he said to me, Bob, over the last 5 years, he's done about $1 million in pay-per-click traffic to order forms, and he realized that the fewer form fields that he has boosts his conversion rates through the roof. And so he really was excited that I gave him the ability to hide all these fields that he doesn't need. He doesn't need the address to, doesn't need the phone number, doesn't need the company name. And so just having less fields to fill out increases conversions. So that's something that we keyed in on for FuseForms. Yeah.
Yeah, this request was because this customer is having issues with the accuracy, and that accuracy is losing them connectivity and causing customer service issues because they type it and then they call back and say, oh, hey, it's broken. But
I never got the email.
It seems
or
to be
whatever.
a real specific. I hadn't had that request before, but apparently they're having a real problem. But interesting.
Huh. Shoot me an email. I'll add that to our development list. That'd be really easy to add.
No, I'm sure, and building it would be a pain in the butt for us.
Yeah, you don't want to build it.
Yeah, so let me ask you. So then, like, people can do like clicking on a terms and conditions kind of thing. Is that something you have?
Exactly.
Because I remember you and I were talking about that.
We added that feature too, so if they click the Buy Now button, it'll pop up a window with the terms and conditions, and then you have optionally they can put in their initials and check a checkbox, one or the other or both, so that you can get any chargeback issues that you're dealing with. You can have a pretty good win percentage on that. Just a lot of these little things that make that order process really seamless and really tight, and get people the tools that they need all in one place in a super slick, easy to use interface. That's the thing we realized, that even though 1.0 was very easy to use, we did have a fair number of people that really weren't familiar with how to do that or how to host images on an SSL site so that you wouldn't break your security. And so we had to figure out all the images now are automatically hosted securely on our server, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It's just it's point, it's click, it's publish, you're done, and literally in seconds you can have a beautiful.
So I'm not copying your stuff into the order form in Infusionsoft?
Nope. Well, yes, you are. You copy my code into the template that you create in Infusionsoft, and then make an order form just like you normally would, and you're done.
Very cool.
Very
cool.
It was just something that was I needed, and then I realized there was a big demand in the marketplace for it, so I created it.
Oh.
And it's been a lot of fun.
Good. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, I wasn't planning on this being okay, I got to buy one of these, but I think I've got this one customers asking for certain features, and I'm going, oh. This is the one I think we might choose. So tell us about the other stuff you have going on. I mean, I was a part of MAG when it was mainly focused on Infusionsoft folks, right? And I know that you've kind of ventured off of that a bit.
Yeah. Well, what I realized is that, and you were really a part of this transition, that I realized teaching people about how to use Infusionsoft wasn't making anybody any money. I spent the first couple years of MAG and showing people how to use the various features of Infusionsoft, showing them all the ins and outs and the tips and the tricks, but that really wasn't having a significant impact on my client's bottom line. And so I really switched gears from being Infusionsoft focused to being business driven focused, and I created what I I call my automated entrepreneur method, which is what I've been teaching for the last couple years now. And what that really involves is a 4-step process to scaling your business to 7 figures and beyond. And the first part of that is, what's the first goal? Well, the first goal is got to have an unstoppable flow of leads. And then I broke that down into, okay, what's required to have that kind of taken care of. And then once you have your leads and your lead gen really dialed in, then the next step is scalability. All right, so we got to have outsourcing people, we got to have delegation, we got to have the people in place, the right strategic partners, if you will, that allow us to scale. And of course, at the last piece of that puzzle, it is the automation. And if we can automate something, we certainly want to do that. I think a lot of people make the mistake of going at Infusionsoft or going at their business trying to start with step 4, and they don't have the fundamentals done yet. They don't have their marketing message really tight. They haven't really figured out their position in the marketplace. They don't have the foundation. So really going all the way to the step 4 and to the end of the automation is an exercise in frustration. So.
Yeah, and I mean, to be a testimony, I mean, I definitely learned a ton of Infusionsoft from you, and even more so from Micah. I mean, I have, we're a Memberium partner now, and we're actually doing a lot of work with him. But the key thing that I learned, my big takeaway from MAG was exactly that: is how do you scale? I still have, and again, this isn't let's congratulate Bob thing, but I owe a lot to him. Is my Danica has been with me now 5 years. She was the lady I hired because you guys said, hey George, you got to find a good outsource.
Good help.
She's my top Filipino, and that was like just highly stressed by everybody in the MAG group, and 5 years later, I'm still reaping the benefits of that.
Yeah, that was a huge decision and a really good one that's paid off. Yeah.
So that's like the first. I mean, I like now that you've got it cut up into those 4 pieces, because we do run into a lot of customers that, again, they're trying to automate something, and again, I try to stay away from helping people build their business. I'm really trying to focus on that niche space of let's build the automation for people that need it.
Sure.
But sometimes you're automating something that isn't ready to be automated.
Well, and again, going back to the not understanding, I find that a lot of people don't even know what they should be doing. Like they have ideas of what they'd like to do, and I go back to my own experience. Like the reason I was able to really utilize the tool in my first business or my auto business was because I understood all the marketing stuff already. I had been doing that for 10 years, so I really had a solid foundation already of what to do and how to position in the marketplace and what the messaging was going to be, who my target audience was, what they thought about, what their fears, what the demographics looked like. I had all of those pieces in place. Oh, and then I brought in an automation tool, and boom, things exploded. Yeah. I find that most people don't really have a clear path to figure out those fundamental pieces, and so over the last, like I said, a couple of years, I've been really put together this packet of, it's like about 27 worksheets and templates and things that help people really understand and get all of those fundamental pieces in place, so that when we go to do the marketing, we go to do the automation, when we go to hire the right people for them, to delegate, to outsource, all those things fall right into place because they've got the foundation pieces there. So it's been a really fun ride, actually, and not to toot my own horn, but some of my clients have been getting phenomenal results.
Yeah, no, I mean, I stay in touch with a number of those folks, and yeah, a lot of them are doing really well. So let me ask you, so who for is it still called MAG?
Yep, Marketing Automation Group, MAG.
So
they're on the Magpies.
Yeah, of course. So who's the person that ought to be in this? Like what's your classic company that could really benefit from that?
That's a great question. I like to work with, I like to say I can't steer a parked car. So I don't want to work with startups or people who just have an idea or have only made a few sales. I really want to work with people who are seasoned business people like yourself, people that are doing, let's call it 100 and something thousand a year up to about 5 million is kind of my sweet spot. That's kind of the group that we've got right now. We just went international. We've got our first clients from Romania, actually, that came to meet us. You asked us about our last meeting, and we did one in Clearwater, Florida recently, and they flew from Romania to join us. Very, very sharp people. But yeah, that's really the sweet spot. From 100 and something thousand up to about 5 million. I really can help people scale. My goal for every client that comes on board is to have a 7-figure business that practically runs itself. And so all the steps that I walk people through and the path that I've laid out is to accomplish that goal.
Yeah, and it's interesting you said that runs itself because, I think you can get there and get some level of scaling, but at some point you're kind of going, why did I bother with this?
Well, I'll tell
I've got
you,
money now, but now I have no time.
yeah, and that's a very, very common problem. In fact, I think if you work really super hard, you can get to a seven-figure business on your own, pretty much running the show yourself. But that's not the goal that I want for people. I want them to have the money and the time, because that's when you really got success. And when you have time freed up and the money still comes in, now people start thinking, well, what else do I want to do? And who else can I help? And what other kind of things are available? So it really changes the dynamics of things.
Yeah, and I've stayed in touch with the Smiths, who were the first champions.
Oh, yeah. Tyler and Don.
And
I just talked to him the other day about Fuse Forms.
Yeah, and they were, here's an example of two guys that built their business. They take pictures of kids' sports teams and stuff, and they're basically completely hands off now. Which then now they're thinking, okay, what do we do next? And now they're doing the text in church.
Which, by the way, is crushing it. I don't know if you've talked to them about it, but they are doing extremely well.
Yeah. And what it's interesting. Here they are in the photography field, but Tyler's brother, Don's son, is a pastor, and so I think it started off as how do we help him get his church more organized and more parishioners and whatever. And so here they came up and built a product, and their red shirts are still up on the Infusionsoft site as the sample companies and things.
Yeah. I remember working with them, and I'll never forget when Don first came to me. Tyler's dad came to me right after we had signed them up. They had joined the group. He pulls me aside. He goes, "Britton, you better not be scamming me." He goes, "I'm going to know if you're scamming me." I want to call him up and be like, "Hey, was I scamming you?"
and that he bought it without telling Tyler about it.
Without telling, that's so funny. Yeah, Tyler wouldn't have done it, and the two of them are just the greatest people. Really, really good people. I wish them all the success in the world.
Great.
It's nice to see them.
Well, Bob, that's what I wanted to cover with you. I'm glad that both of those. I really hadn't gotten a catch up on where you were with MAG, but I know that those of us. I mean, I can name off a number of people that I met at PartnerCon that were a part of the group, and we're all still kind of that camaraderie that we developed. So
Sure.
Kudos to you. Why don't you just give people some information on the how to get a hold of you, how to get a hold of your products.
Yeah, marketingautomationgroup.com. That's my main site. All of the information about what I do and a bunch of free resources are there. I've got a pretty extensive blog there where I put a lot of really great articles that are hopefully very helpful to people, a lot of good feedback. There's webinars and training videos that I've got on there, all free content. So if people want to check that out, they certainly can. If they're interested in the product we were talking about before, that's Fused Forms. That's the automated or the order form generator that converts and optimizes mobile-ready order forms.
Fused Forms.
Yep.
With
Fused
an S?
Forms. F-U-S-E-D. F-U-S-E-D. F-O-R-M-S.
Okay.
Fused
When we
Forms.
publish this, send me the link so that I can just publish and make sure I get everything right. And
Sure. I'll send you both
if
those
any of our
links.
audience wants to go over there, they can check it out.
Yeah, and as far as the MAG group itself, that's by application only. But I'm certainly willing, if somebody is interested in that, they can get on a call with me and we'll talk about it and see if it's a good fit.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate having you on, taking time out of your busy day.
All right. Well, thanks, George. It's been great being here.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.